Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Symphony. Symphony Entertainment, Gaming, and Arts is my gaming company that focuses on horror systems, indie games, organic content, and player agency in an attempt to bring a symphonic approach to horror role playing. I am your host, which also it's been a while since I've been in a GM chair on my own platform. I am actually going to be your keeper of arcane lore as I am running Aurora Blue, an original scenario that I actually wrote for Chaosium's newest Call of Cthulhu publication, No Time to Scream. I allegedly have some cover art imagery for you. That is like the cover art of the scenario when you actually pick up No Time to Scream. It has 3 scenarios in it, bits and pieces, a lonely thread, and then here for Aurora Blue. These games were originally paced to be 1 to 2 hour games. It's 12,000 words. I wrote it as a 4-hour scenario. Now, there are rules and things that you can use to minimize, condense, shave down, and get it off in 60 minutes or 120 minutes if that's what you're looking for. Evan Perlman, a backer of the Symphony, did a stream of Aurora Blue. He hit it in an hour. He hit it hard. It was gorgeous and it works. We're going to spend some time. We're going to stretch out and we're going to kind of explore the entirety of this particular scenario. So this is going to be happening in 2 episodes. This is episode 1. And then we're going to be back tomorrow, assuming my internet still works. And then we're going to be streaming the second episode and the conclusion. So before we get into the game, one quick announcement. Symphony Entertainment does have a Patreon. So if you like this content and you would like to help support us make more of this content, please consider backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. Now, content warnings have been discussed with the cast and crew. The X card is in play. X's can be sent via private message there in the Zoom chat, or you can just do it visibly where I can see it. The other safety tool that Symphony mandates is the traffic light method, the green, yellow, red traffic light method, which can be activated by, well, during this recording, by myself or any cast member at any time. If a safety tool is activated, there is no judgment passed and there are no questions asked. Content warnings for the viewers. Be advised, we're looking at violence, body horror, mutilated animals, endangered children with the potential for harm to children, which I also warn the cast could be a death of a child, flashbacks depicting racism, some racial tension, and one racist granny. So, without further ado, we're going to briefly unveil this cast, and then we're going to hop directly into the content. So, starting off with you, Nate, we're going to do introduction super fast on this one. Just tell us who you are, where people can find you, and then your Symphony surprise questions are going to be, or is, what are 3 adjectives or sentences or impressions that strike you when you think of the Aurora Borealis?
So random. Aurora Borealis. I just don't understand why that might come up. Hi, I'm Nate, your friend Nate on Discord. You can find me there, many of those servers. You can find me on the podcast Roll Better, and you can find me playing Elliot Winters on a Delta Green Impossible Landscapes campaign over in the old ways. Aurora. Oh wow, it shares a name with this. I'm starting to click.
Bridgett. It's all coming together.
I'm finally getting it now. 3 adjectives. So yeah. I think chaotic.
Oh,
I wrote some down. Transient.
Oh,
and celestial. Those are my 3 adjectives for the Aurora Borealis.
Wait,
because you know me, I like words.
Chaotic.
Wait, you writing this down?
I am. Transient.
You know, because chaotic, transient, and celestial.
That's good,
I don't like that because you also like, hey, you gave us 50 points and we put 50 points in our character, and then someone said, hey, do you want to know where we put that? And you said, no, it don't matter. And I know when the keeper says no, it don't matter, that means this game's gonna be brutal.
It's gonna be
Things
brutal.
Are gonna be hard.
Chaotic and transient, maybe.
It
maybe
might be
chaotic and transient.
It's probably not gonna be celestial.
I'll add a little razzle dazzle of celestial in there just so you don't feel alone, Nate. Just so you don't feel alone. Tanya, baby, talk to me, you gorgeous self. Tell us who you are, where people can find you, and what are your 3 adjectives or impressions or sentences that come to you when you think of the Aurora? Oh, I have you guys in the wrong boxes. That's so you keep doing you. I messed up in the background because it's Symphony.
No, because I think I clicked the wrong box. Sorry about that.
This is my fault always.
Okay. My name is Tanya, aka TanyaLashea, and you can find me in all places. Just literally search TanyaLashea. That's usually what I use. So YouTube, and all the Discord channels. And then I am the GM of most of the games on the Aging Journey podcast. And we're actually going to be having a cute little Christmas special. This look might be giving you a little teaser of. So
Hey.
come on over later this month if you're watching this in December of 2024. And
Yes.
then my three things were for the Aurora Borealis,
Mm-hmm.
were vivid,
Good.
expansive,
Dangerous.
and entrancing.
I'm going to ruin you. Okay.
Excellent.
I know. I'm looking forward to it, babe. Oh, that is delicious. Vivid, expansive, and entrancing. This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. Traci, welcome back to the Symphony. This is your second time jumping out. Baby, tell us who you are, where people can find you if you want to be found, and what your impressions are of the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, I am Traci A. I am Mythical Magpie on almost every platform, streaming, Instagram. I am mostly an artist, so I don't have a lot of other podcasts and things, but you can come check out my art on Instagram for sure. And three things, oh boy, they've had some really great examples.
They have.
So I am going to say legendary,
Oh,
um,
legendary's good.
mystical, and moving.
Oh, legendary, mystical, and moving. This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. Okay, Skip, you know what it is. You've been around here before. You didn't run on here before. Tell us who you are, where people can find you. What are your impressions of the Aurora Borealis?
Well, my name is Skip. I go by Hi, it's Skip on the Symphony channel, and also Commodore Skip over on the Always podcast, which I just joined officially today as a cast member. So I'm very excited about that. So you can catch me over there. And my three adjectives are majestic,
Good one.
brilliant,
Dangerous one.
and cloudy.
Oh. This is good, guys. This is good. Okay. Just as a quick recap before we start Aurora Blue: chaotic, transient, celestial, vivid, expansive, entrancing, legendary, mystical, moving, majestic, brilliant, cloudy. Mature content warning. Aurora Blue contains mature themes above and beyond those usually featured in a Call of Cthulhu scenario. Specifically, this scenario depicts culturally sensitive material, including racism and racial conflict. The four pre-generated investigators for this scenario are Bureau of Prohibition agents from marginalized backgrounds, underpaid, underappreciated, and often overlooked despite their talents. They are desperate to close this case before new agents sweep in from the continental U.S. and claim the laurels of the investigation as their own. Aurora Blue mimics the real and immeasurable obstacles often faced by marginalized people. Investigators must deal with racist NPCs, come face to face with culturally prejudiced imagery, and may suffer painful flashbacks drawn from their backstories that depict the bigotry that they've experienced. Additionally, the investigators are in a position that limits their ability to flee. Their careers, their reputations, and potentially the progression of any marginalized person who aspires to follow in their footsteps rests on their success. Let's get started. All right, guys, here's what we're looking at. This is just a mild flavored teaser, then we're going to get into the read aloud section. So this scenario takes place on the winter solstice, December 22nd, 1932. Now, in 1932, Alaska was a U.S. territory, but it still upheld, continental U.S. federal laws, including alcohol prohibition. But the distance and the lack of formal statehood made, such enforcement fairly difficult. The roads outside are slick with ice, visibility is poor, and the sun shines fewer than 6 hours a day. After weeks of methodical work, the investigators have tracked down the source of a popular bathtub gin called the Aurora Blue. This dazzling spirit comes in transparent glass bottles, and it shines in a brilliant turquoise, green, or purple color, all depending on how the light hits it. Despite the size of the seizure and the deaths of those who have consumed the Aurora Blue, it's spread like a wildfire through America. Initial thoughts that the liquor was coming from Canada, but that only delayed response and confused things until it was maybe recognized that it was coming down from Alaska. So the Bureau of Prohibition, concerned about the consequences of their inaction, sent disposable scapegoats, you guys, to work the case, who they intend to fully blame for the delays and thus not be responsible for any of the blowback. That's the background setting that you guys are kind of working with right now. Here's what you know. The day is December 22nd, 1932. It is the winter solstice. Anchorage is cold and grim. The roads are slick with ice and visibility is so poor. The sun only shines for 6 hours. 6 hours of precious daylight. It's currently 10:15 a.m. and the sun has just risen. You four are agents of the Bureau of Prohibition. You've been stuck here for the last few weeks tracking down the source of this Aurora Blue, a sensationally popular bathtub gin that has poisoned over the death of over a dozen people. Just yesterday, you confirmed that this eerie turquoise and purple-hued liquor is a product of the Beaker family, Beaker, the Beaker family, distilled at their property in the foothills of the Chugach Mountains. After telegraphing your findings to your field office in Seattle, you received orders to halt your investigation immediately. After Christmas, the Bureau will send agents to raid the Beaker cabin and make these arrests. You all know what that means. That means the Bureau intends to send privileged agents to take over your investigation and claim the glory. Not again. Not again. Not again will the Bureau take credit for all of your hard work and accomplishes. Not this time. Enough is enough. You've done the work. You've earned this bus. So you're pushing forward. You're ignoring your direct orders from Seattle. And you're carrying out this raid on the Beaker cabin yourself. All four of you know, if you fail, they're going to spread lies about you. And they're going to feel validated in doing so. But if you succeed, your hope is that your hard work will finally earn you some respect. It's a slim hope in the 1930s. Our story begins, officially, as you approach the edge of the Beaker property in a government-issued Ford Model T. Dense snow covers the ground with more still falling. Large clumps strike the roof's car as it passes over the overhanging canopies of pine trees. That's where our game technically starts. But I want to do character introductions, so we're going to do something a little different. Here's how we're going to do character introductions. And cast, I don't want to spend more than maybe 5 minutes here. This is going to be the appetizers. This is going to be your lean in. This is you going to be getting your feet into the snow. We're going to flash back to early this morning. You're in your field office here located in Anchorage, which, I mean, it's for marginalized individuals in the Bureau of Prohibition out in Alaska. Your field office is like literally the side office that's been attached to a local tapestry, a local farmer, a local something. Where it's just like you have a side back room. There's 2 desks. There's a little lobby area that you've managed to squeeze a couch in. But it's just the 4 of you guys there. And I want Titus to start with Titus walking into the room with the telegraph that you just picked up from downtown. And I want you to come into this room and just tell us what we see, give us a taste of your vibe, and tell us what that telegraph says.
Absolutely. much like myself, Titus is strength 80, size 80. So an imposing figure, tall, 6'2", 6'3". Strength coming from a long childhood background playing sports, wrestling and football. And after that, where I treat my ability to physically move and do physical things very seriously, because I believe in my head that is one of the key attributes that'll keep me both alive in this job but also successful. I'm holding this telegram in one hand. I've got a cup in the other, black coffee. I hate black coffee, but I drink it because it's usually available and I often don't have a choice. And so I'm trying to cultivate and just in the bitter taste sort of starts the morning off right anyway. Dressed in my only suit. There I've got one, and it is my work suit. I wear it every single day. And as a result, there are a fair number of patches. There's stains that I've tried to cover up or clean or take care of. All of that. I am well put together, even though I'm wearing the only suit that I own. All the buttons are on it, and they are neatly patched up. If when they've fallen off, I've had plenty of people grab a shirt and tear off, and I've had to at night afterwards repair that damage real fast because I've got to work the next morning. And there's just a constant air of I have to do more. There's more for me to do. I have another thing that I have to get to. I never can actually stop. I can never take a break. I can never take a rest. We got a telegram, everyone. Western Union just came today, 1932, December 22nd, right up here. And I sort of flap it out as if anyone could see it. It's from our Seattle office. Report received for plan for raid on Beaker Cabin to make arrests and halt production of Aurora Blue. Residents Matilda, 82, Jacob, 42, Addie, 37, and Missy, 7. M-. Jacob Beaker violent arrest record. Stop. Objective to arrest Jacob and Addie Beaker and destroy Aurora Blue. Still. Stop. Suspend plan. Y'all, it says suspend plan. M-. Await additional agents and instructions in January. They want us to sit on this. They want us to just slam the telegram on the table in the room.
Who's sitting at the table when that telegram slams onto the desk? Who's sitting at that desk right now?
I would say Virginia certainly is.
Virginia, you're teed up for your introduction. That telegram just slammed onto the desk in front of you.
Virginia takes in the information, a bit older than some of the other agents, in her 40s. She spent a lot of her career leading up to a bust like this. She has done her level best to not only do what is inherent to her family, her father having been a lawman himself, and then also overcoming the prejudices of her own gender. She is pushed and pushed to get a break like this. And to know that this final opportunity for her and for the people who have worked with her on this team is likely going to be pushed to more popular, more proper looking and appearing folk who have not put in the time. This is her last chance. This is her last chance to finally make a name for herself. And she refuses to let this be the end. She takes it and she reads it again, almost as if she's uncertain that he said what it said. And rereading it again, she sees, and she looks up to Titus. No. No. And she'll set it back down on the table.
No.
This time.
No. that defiance, that rebellion, that conviction. It speaks to one of you, Anya or Booker. Who does that hit the hardest? Who does that hit first?
I think that hits Anna.
Talk us through it.
Anna is actually standing still with her back to Titus and Virginia, even though she knows Titus walked in and is talking. She's making another pot of the blackest, darkest, deepest coffee you could drink with no sugar, no milk, no cream. And it's piping hot as she pours it into her cup. And she's just listening to them behind her. She is wearing a very simple camel woven long trench coat that she wears when the winter season has come. She has on she calls it kind of her uniform for this job, which is almost like a kind of a pinstripe suit, except for it's not like white pinstripe. It's black with like a brown, like a off brown pinstripe, with boots that have actually fur around the cuffs. And then she is wearing like a necklace that looks slightly bejeweled, but she tries to keep it underneath her collar, because it is actually a gift from her mother, who was a local. And she is also a local, has lived here her whole life. She's familiar with the Beakers. She has known them for a long time. And she is almost stoic in her silence and very quiet when she turns around and walks to the table. And as Virginia kind of puts down the telegram, she'll pick it up, look at it, look back to Virginia and Titus, and simply go, "No, indeed. What's the plan?"
Booker, that's a great question for you, as you were the very first person of color to be promoted to the Bureau of Prohibition. You're kind of looked at as a leader or a grandfather or an elder, but you can feel the charge in the room and you can feel the wall behind your back. Anna is holding the telegraph. Introduction is teed up to you.
Booker is kind of over by the window, taking a smoke. He's just the kind of guy that doesn't want the smoke to interfere with anybody else. So he's just kind of looking out the window while he's smoking, and he hears what Titus has to say. He hears what the others have to say, and he'll just kind of put out his cigarette and close the window. Booker is about 62 years old. He's been at it for quite some time. Dressed in a really nice appointed brown suit, brown tie, white shirt. Over on his desk, he has his hat and his coat. Just kind of shakes his head a little bit, reaches into his pocket and pulls out his badge. It's his favorite item. He's worked very, very hard and very, very long to earn the respect that he feels that this badge brings. He'll just smile a little bit, place it back into his pocket, walk over to the table where everybody else is gathered. This is not unexpected. The Bureau was going to do this anyway. I just know it. They're going to cover themselves. They're going to do whatever they need to do. That's fine. They can do whatever they need to do. But we're going to do what we're here to do. This is on me. I'm making the call, and I'll take the fall if we need to, but we're going to do this. And he'll just kind of go back to his desk, sit down, and just kind of lean back a little bit.
Titus, you walked in around 8:30, 9 a.m. This is the winter solstice. You only get 6 hours of sunlight, and you don't want to be in the bowels of this mountain dealing with a violent criminal in the dark. 10:15. You're in the vehicle. You've just turned onto the Beaker property. Doof. Another one of those massive snow clumps just hits the metal of the roof. As you pass under the canopy, this just seems to be happening more and more often. Who's driving?
I guess I will be.
Who's in the passenger seat front?
Virginia, you in the front?
Only if you're not.
Yeah, I think I'm in the back.
Okay.
Booker, you're driving. Virginia, you are in the front passenger seat, and you hear another one of those thump, which is just another mound of snow that's been surrendered from a branch somewhere. But no, Virginia, I need you to make me a spot hidden, please.
Oh boy. That is 37 out of 40.
You just narrowly made this. Virginia, boof, goes the snow onto the roof, and you look up, and on this snowy path that your car is trudging through, one of these massively overhanging limbs, you can just see it snap under the weight of the snow. And if Booker doesn't do something soon, this massive branch is coming directly through your windshield. You have all of 3 seconds to make some type of an action or to say
Okay,
something.
I'm gonna say Booker left, and I'm gonna try and help encourage him that away from the branch.
Brilliant. Booker. Virginia has called out, Booker left, and she is helping with the steering wheel. I need a drive auto from you. Because she successfully made that spot hidden check, you are rolling with a bonus die.
Okay. 29 out of 40.
29 out of 40. That is brilliant. The car swerves. You can feel your back tires catch onto that ice that's always snuck between the snow. The vehicle killer, the family killer, the back of the car slides, and it crumples into a snowbank. You barely missed a branch coming down, but you didn't have the eyes on the rest of the terrain, and the car lurches as the windshield breaks in, and it is suddenly covered with the fruits that were hanging off of this tree. But with a successful drive roll, no one in the vehicle takes any damage. You can hear the vehicle sputtering. You can see the heat from the exhaust burning through the crisp air. But as you are all just trying to get a moment on what happened, you recognize that several of you, and by several of you, I'm mostly focusing right now on Virginia and Booker in the front seat, are covered in some pulpy, wet, cold, citrus situation that has fallen from the tree. Virginia, you have the lowest luck in this particular situation. The investigator with the lowest luck finds themselves covered in the foul-smelling fruit mush. The snow-covered branch was laden with giant crab apples.
Come on.
Yeah, oh yeah, so it's a good times. Giant crab apples, and it just has this putrid smell as it's just in your scarf, and it's already starting to cake down the front of your shirt, and you're just splashed with it.
I take off my scarf and kind of start wiping myself. Is everybody okay? Is everybody all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. What about you back there?
I'll pull my arms away. I feel like as soon as this all started happening, I probably grabbed both sides. So one arm sort of protecting a little bit Anna, but holding on to the other end and the other. And so I'll pull them back and, oh shit, what happened? You okay, Anna?
I have been better.
Oh, is anyone hurt? We're okay back here, Book. You good?
We're good up here, except for Virginia's covered in something. Looks like crab apple?
Is that what smells?
Yeah.
Virginia.
Like I don't even.
Those are quite good, right? But
these are right.
Rotten.
These are very right.
Anna, that's a really good point. Go ahead, because you're a local. Go ahead and back into your natural world and roll that for me.
Oh, I do have natural world. Ooh. That's a 21. So that is a Hard success.
Oh, brilliant. I'll give you some additional goodies on this one. You're looking at like this crab apple that's sprayed all over Virginia, and you're looking at another one that just clanks into the roof of the car as snow is starting to blow in through the collapsed windshield. And one hard stop. Even a layperson knows that in December, this is an unusual time for crab apples to be growing. They shouldn't be growing at all. This produce should not be happening here. You're a local to this area. This is home for you. Crab apples don't grow in Alaska, at least not this breed of them. Pacific crab apple trees also never grow this large, even under ideal conditions. And we're talking about the perfect amount of sunlight, the perfect fertilizer, the perfect growth. Everything about this is completely abnormal. And that smell is one that you're going to be rinsing out of your nostrils probably for the next couple of days, and you're not even the one that's splashed in this mush.
Mm-hmm. I think you'll see Anna kind of take a little bit of it and kind of look around outside the car.
Mm-hmm.
Booker, did we hit a trading truck or some sort?
No, ma'am. We just saw the branch made a swerve and ended up in this ditch or in this tree. And I'm amazed. I've never seen fruit like this grow in this kind of weather.
Well, that's because they don't.
Why is it so soft? It's the middle of winter.
Mm.
Why is it so mushy?
Are we caught? Do you think they saw us come in? I think she kind of looks out her window to see, is anybody able to like see them from where they are right now? Are there any eyes on them?
Virginia, if you stay in this car for another 3 minutes, you're not going to be able to see much of anything. This is a whiteout condition. This snow is unapologetic. There's no way someone can see this car right now unless they're directly on you. Could you have been heard? Possibly, but you're at the very base of the Beaker farm, and just any investigation you've done, or even Anna would know that it's a long winding trail to get up this hill to where their cabin actually sits right off of the river. And the snow continues to blow into the inside of the car.
Do you think you can get it moving again, or do you think we got to hoof it?
Anyone who wants to respond to that question can roll me a mechanical repair.
I would love to do that.
Let's do it, baby.
No, I failed it.
Okay, no problem. Do you have at least a 30 in it?
I have a 40 in it, actually.
This is brilliant. So you are looking over the vehicle, and a couple things happen. You pop open the hood. You're looking inside, and you recognize that this car is repairable, but it requires some parts. There's probably spare parts at the Beaker cabin, right? You're not entirely sure what you need, but if you overcompensate for the parts that you need with the failed roll, you'll probably be able to pull it together. You are putting your hands onto the top of the hood, and you slam this down, and the hood does a thing where it talks back to you because of the dent that's in the front of the car. It doesn't quite want to latch. So you like slam it down again, and then this memory comes slamming back to you. Booker, looking at the crashed car, your thoughts drift back to the day that you arrived in Anchorage. You were tired from the trip and anxious about the reception you might receive. Then your truck broke down right outside of town. You tried to flag down help, but one look at your face and your new neighbors just kept driving. You walked on foot all the way into town. You even tried flashing your badge around, hoping that would get the attention of a few folks. Your prized possession, that badge that you told us earlier meant so much to you. But here, as a man of color in Anchorage and law enforcement, that badge means nothing. And you have to come face to face with that realization every single time a car passes by you. Every time you asked an individual for directions and they ignored you or did worse. The response overall was colder than the weather. You ended up in a small diner, nursing a bitter cup of black coffee, feeling deserted, abandoned, and alone. A black waitress offers to refresh your cup and share in your sorrows. as she is pouring this pot of coffee into your cup and refreshing it, what advice did she give you that day that changed everything? And effectively what happens in these flashbacks that I wrote, that is your tee up. This is your scene. You are the keeper. You are the NPCs. You are everything. Just put us into that world. Put us into that moment. Put us into that significant event. And just pick up narrative from there. But the question you do need to answer is, what advice did she give you that day that changed everything?
Booker would just look up at her. Just probably still some snow melting off of the top of his head. Even through the hat that he was wearing, he took it off and some of it spilled on it. Just looks for a moment at the coffee in the cup as it's still swirling, as it's still coming in. And he kind of thinks back. He kind of thinks back to the time where also he was being poured a cup of coffee by his best friend, David. And they were sitting there talking. And David was going through the same thing that Booker was. David had just started the job, and he was the first man of color there as well. And we were commiserating over all the problems that we face. And David just looked up at him out of the cup of coffee and he said, "You know what, Book? No matter what we go through, no matter what crap that this country and this life is going to put upon us, we never, ever change who we are inside, because that's what matters. They may not can see it, but you know it." And as she finishes pouring the coffee, and he'll take a sip, and a big smile actually comes on his face. And he tells her the exact same thing. He just says, "It's going to be all right." And she said, "Yeah, it is. Just never change who you are.
Who you are.
Who you are. Would you like a piece of pie?" And he'll just nod and say, "Yes, apple, please."
Stunning. The four of you are outside of your crash vehicle. The snow is coming down, and you almost hate to look up at the sky and acknowledge how little sunlight you have left. I'm not going to ask you if you're turning back. I was present for your character introductions. I know that you're not. So I'm going to push us forward. The road to the Beaker cabin is slick with ice. Trudging forward wears on your feet, your lower back, and your shoulders. The slow, agonizing, slow rate of travel steadily eats away at the remaining daylight. The falling snow grows thicker. Soon it obscures everything beyond a few feet. The temperature of this air, it's that type of cold that gets on the inside of your lungs and just makes it hurt to breathe. As you guys are continuing to trudge up this walkway, you can give me a spot hidden, a natural world, or a hard knowledge roll. Your choice. Spot hidden, natural world, or a knowledge check. But if you do the knowledge check, it has to be hard.
I did a natural world.
Okay.
And I got a success.
Okay.
I failed a natural world.
Good for you. That's okay. Failure is good in this game.
I did a spot hidden, and
Okay.
I've got a extreme success.
Well done. Titus.
And I did natural world also, and I got an extreme success on
Here
that.
we
That is 60. I've never had
go.
a 60 natural world. I've never wrote
Let's-
a character like that. Titus is.
Let's go, Titus. Let's go. I'll do this rapid fire. Anna, with a regular success on your natural world, you guys are continue to trudge. You're continue to go up the incline, and you're noticing as you continue to climb upwards, like it's just weighing on your physical body. But you do notice that the snow is starting to thin. That's curious. Is it getting warmer? the higher that you climb, because you should start seeing more snow. Titus, that was an extreme success on your natural world, correct?
Yes.
No, you absolutely know that the snow seems to be thinning the higher that you climb. You can start seeing your boots crunch through that last bit of snow and start coming into slush. But as you're rising in elevation, you should actually be seeing more snow at this point. The temperature shouldn't be getting warmer, but like you can feel yourself pulling out of your gloves. That scarf is starting to feel just a little too warm on you. And that's when you hear the snap of a branch about 30 feet in front of you. Booker, you also, because you got an extreme on your spot hidden, right?
I did.
Okay. Through the cascade of snow that's coming down, you also hear that snap, but you get something slightly different. About 30 feet in front of you. And baby, this isn't a long distance. And it's about to feel a lot shorter with this description. You can see the silhouette of what has to be a 12-foot moose that's just slightly being blanketed out by the snow. Virginia, you're not noticing or feeling or recognizing any of this. Your lower back hurts, your knee hurts, and at this point, you're wet. You're almost just grateful that the smell of that rotten, putrid crab apple had frozen onto you, but now it's starting to melt again. So there's that experience that I'll let you just enjoy. But Booker and Titus, something's on the road with you, and it's way closer than it needs to be.
All right, everybody, don't move.
What do you see?
About 30 yards ahead, I can't make it totally up, but it looks like a big moose, if I wasn't mistaken. Titus,
Okay,
can you see it?
Is that 30 yards or 30 feet? Because that's a big difference. And
30 feet, baby. This
I
thing
think
is
it's
right
closer.
on top of you.
30 feet. Don't make
Right.
any sudden moves. This is his turf, not ours.
Let's talk about the things you guys know about moose. You know that moose are typically nervous creatures, but you know if they're approached, they can become stressed and aggressive. The snow has just like one of those brief moments where the curtain kind of drops and you get just a line of sight on what's in front of you. And you recognize that this isn't a normal moose and it's not alone. Moose are naturally enormous, but there are two in front of you that are unnaturally enlarged. A mother and its calf. The mother moose's mammary glands that you can see on her belly are swollen, and they are dripping with a yellow, spoiled-looking pussy milk into the snow. The infant, still on wobbly legs, possesses 3 heads. You are more than welcome to enjoy that handout if you would like it. Possesses 3 heads, each with over-exaggerated, bulging eyes. On the middle head, it almost looks like the eyes are falling off of this thing's head. Its 6 pupils roll about deliriously, giving off oddly changing colors of blue, green, teal, and purple. I need a sanity check across the board. If you succeed, you lose 1. If you fail, you're going to lose 1d3. So you can roll a d6 yourself and just eat it. Just tell us what your results are.
you said lose 1d3?
Yes, sir.
That's on a success.
On a failure. If
On
you
a failure.
succeed, you lose 1. If
Thank
you
you.
fail, you're losing 1d3. Yep. How'd you guys do?
I passed.
Good for you. Titus failed. Booker?
Passed right on the money.
Ooh. Anna?
I passed.
Oh,
Anna
man.
pass.
I'm alone.
Booker pass. Virginia pass. Titus, is that why this mother is now staring at you dead in the face? Is this why you are in a standoff with this gargantuan creature, it rears its head back and it huffs at you loudly, and you know right now that you are in a standoff with a creature that is going to one-shot you. That is also a warning from your keeper. If combat engages, this is going to be an automatic death for somebody. Titus, I'm going to tee you up some options, but you can also talk to me and tee me up some options. We've given you a couple outs. You can try an intimidate check to get this thing to go to fuck off. You can try an animal handling to scare this thing away, or you can tell me what you want to do.
Well, you actually nailed what I was thinking, especially losing 2. I lost 2 sanity. I started 50. So already I'm well on my way.
Yeah.
To endeavor. So I think that is shaking me enough. I want to pull my gun and I want to point it in the air. And I do want to make an intimidation check using my gun and my voice to try and just make enough noise to have this moose decide to take its business somewhere easier.
Oh, I
also,
love
this
this.
moose is scary as hell. So I think I'm a little bit, I'm a lot unnerved as well.
No, I absolutely love this. Because of the fear that you're experiencing, the sanity loss that you're just, why does this thing have 3 heads? And then why is the mother's mammary glands dripping what looks to be folded milk? And your gun goes into the air. You fire into the silence, and you do what? Just talk me through it.
And I roar like I used to, and I think I'll probably in this moment just a sort of semi-panic, because the best defense is a good offense is something that I believe strongly. I think I will roar, and I think it will, in my head at least, be me roaring my high school fight song, which is sort of embarrassing, but also it is what it is when you are faced with things like this.
This is stunning. Please roll me an intimidate check. And because you're throwing on a firearms discharge, and I actually just love the narrative, I will let you roll with a bonus die.
I appreciate that. I'm going to make sure I'm rolling with my 10s and not my 8s.
Yeah.
I've played an entire game rolling D8s and wondering why I rolled so poorly. Okay, so this first one is a hard success. I have an intimidate. I put 20 points into it, my bonus. So I have a pretty decent. I have a 70 intimidate. So I've got a hard success in my intimidate. Actually, let me try my bonus.
Let's see what happens.
Same. Hard success.
No, this is stunning. This is stunning. So, Nate, you're one of the best storytellers that I know. Do you want to take the calf's reaction or the mother's reaction? You're going to be successful. I'm just curious, just for some additional narrative fluff. Do you want to take the mom or the child?
I think it's the mom's reaction.
You want to take the mom's?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the calf, at the hearing of the gunshot, bow, as it cuts through the silence, immediately tenses up. Everything freezes. Like all of its just muscles go into like that super rigid deer in the headlight, not quite sure what to do moment. All 3 heads suddenly stop and stare at you, but the 6 eyes continue to roll about deliriously. And then the legs take off before the rest of its body even catches up with it. This calf is gone. 1, 2, 3 bounds, and then suddenly this thing is almost like a memory in your periphery as it disappears into the white. The mother.
And the mother makes one of those humph noises again that moose do. It's almost like a black bear. It's this guttural nature at its worst or finest. And it dashes towards me, the thing making all the sound, the noise and all the sounds. And maybe I'm saved because of the whiteout and the snow, because it catches just the merest sound of its baby taken off to the side. And as it's barreling down towards me, and it's 30 feet for a moose. What is that? 5 steps, maybe?
A step, 2.
Boom. And I think I can feel the ground shake as this giant thing, at the last moment, its attention becomes focused more on the baby than on the insignificant, noisy thing.
Yeah.
And more just in terms of navigation. It's a ship at sea. It needs a lot to move. It starts to turn back and towards the baby, and it brushes against me, throws me down on the ground. And it veers around and it follows the baby. Another rumph, in the forest as it dashes after its calf. I lie on the ground. I'm just staring up, and in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, rules of an engagement like this, you come in quiet and you don't broadcast your intentions until the last. I just fired my damn firearm, first time ever, at a freaky ghost moose.
And Titus, we're going to stay with you here for a minute as that realization dawns on you. You've been thrown to the ground by this moose, this near-death encounter, and your back hits something with a thunk. Fresh snow falls off your shoulders. You've hit some type of a sign that's mounted in the ground. And as you're thinking about the fact that you just alerted the entire Beaker farm, potentially, of your arrival, you guys are much closer now. You look over your shoulder and you look at the sign, and a whites only sign is staring you directly in the face. Let's talk about this sign for just a moment, Titus. Titus, the sign below the mailbox is ugly and familiar. It reads whites only. You think back to a place filled with the roars of an excited press, the bright flashes of camera, and the loud cheering of the city's crowd. You are at an award ceremony. A senior Bureau of Prohibition agent is handing out commendations to all of your white colleagues that are on stage. You're not on stage. They didn't print out a medal for you. As a matter of fact, you're not even with the crowd of people. You're in the back of the crowd, in the colored section. The medals are being distributed for a speakeasy that you initiated. It yielded the largest confiscation of liquor that year. But again, you stood in the back, absent medal, absent photos, absent cheering, with a sign just at your hip that's been painted with orange paint that says coloreds only. And as you watched your peers, your colleagues accept their medals and their laurels, you made a promise to yourself in that moment. What was that promise? Again, flashback narrative, you are the GM, you are the NPCs, you are everything. This is your moment. The only question you have to answer is, what did you promise yourself in that moment?
And that was the moment that I looked down and decided that I was going to stay in this job. One, because every morning was a thought process in my head. Why do I bother with this? Why do I keep myself in this job, this position? And for a while, it was, I feel like I'm doing good. I feel like I'm accomplishing and achieving something. So, but then as I started doing more and more work with the Bureau of Prohibition and thinking, the prohibition of why, what, how is this actually help? But looking at that sign, I realized, no, I'm going to stay. And I made a decision. That I would never let a sign like that ever get in the way of my duty ever again. And I would try to be bigger than any one of those signs, any one of those barricades in front of me. I'm sort of brash, sort of ideological. I don't have Booker's wisdom, but I see that. Fuck no. That sign is for me, reminding me, even though what I just saw is impossible, the only way forward is through. And the only way through is forward. So I'm going to start brushing off, and I'm not even going to mention this sign to my colleagues. They don't need that in their heads. I'm pushing it out of my head too. We have a job to do.
Stunning. The three of you are standing there after whatever the fuck that situation was, and its calf have disappeared, hopefully into the darkness, hopefully into the white, and if you're lucky, maybe someday out of your memories. But You're going to remember this one for a while. I will give you guys just a quick second to recalibrate. I recognize that I am riding the gas pedal on this one, and I appreciate you guys for sticking with the pacing.
I think one of the first things that happens as all of this is happening is she sees this monster, and she probably thinks Titus is real hurt, or maybe even dead. And so she'll call out for him, and then kind of see him get to his feet. And there's just a moment where she have allowed her focus on this case slip for just a second. She saw one of hers fall. And so she looks around and makes sure that Booker and Anna kind of see what she saw. And that Titus is okay and he's coming to his senses. And she kind of reaches out a hand to him. You all right?
I'll take it. I don't know how I survived that. Even just a little brush. That thing was weird, Virginia, right? It was not right.
I was really hoping you were going to tell me that there was something in those sour apples that maybe got to me. But it didn't. You saw that. And she kind of looks at all of her peers.
Yeah, we all saw that.
That was the damnedest thing I've ever seen. Titus, you all right?
I'll be all right. I'm sort of patting myself. I'm trying to make sure there's nothing's broken. I don't think I'm bleeding even. I lucked out this time.
And that's the good thing. You're alive, you're kicking, and you ain't bleeding. So we'll call this one a win.
Although I announced our presence to the entire family if they were paying any attention.
Possibly. It's thick out here, and with snow comes sound. It's very windy. They may not have heard.
Cross my fingers on that. That would be wonderful if
but
that was true.
If we don't move, though, I think we're going to be snowmen.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Virginia's right. All right, so we'll proceed like we think that they know that we're here. Hopefully we won't have to, but we better be on guard just in case.
And it goes without saying, but my head's going back to the sign. I think we should proceed as if they are very unfriendly to law enforcement and maybe a slight pause to us. I think it'd be safe to assume the worst until we see something otherwise.
Well stated. You
Very
continue
wise.
forward. Titus, you didn't point the sign out to your colleagues. You had a beautiful articulation there that they just didn't need to carry that weight. They didn't need it. But you can feel that sign sneering at your back as you turn against it and continue forward. Virginia, it was you who mentioned the time. I will say it is now 1:45 p.m. And you see the beaker cabin ahead. It's a dilapidated single-story wooden building surrounded by overgrown orchid trees and hemmed by the forest of rising Chugach Mountains. Overgrown vines and weeds climb the walls as well as the property in general. Beyond the cabin, a ridgeline looks down on the gurgling river. Anna, you knew that this was here. The air in this area feels unseasonably warm. You guys are now actually sweating. Now, was that your nervous systems? Was that the adrenaline? Was that the fear? Or no? As you're looking around at this point, you can see the vines crawling into windows and through the roof and over the porch because there is no snow here. It is unseasonably warm. As you look at the property, the sun is setting. You can see the sun as it's almost waving goodbye to you, half hidden behind the mountains. You don't have a whole lot of sunlight left, guys. That river is flowing behind you. Vegetation is surrounding it. Overgrown, thick, wet-looking vegetation. Anna, you know that river should be frozen, but it's not. At least up here, it is churning. As you guys walk and approach the cabin, you guys spot there on the porch a shriveled old woman sitting in a rocking chair, rocking silently. You know that this has to be Grandma Beaker Matilda. You're looking at her as she is rocking. Her head doesn't turn to face you. Maybe she hasn't seen you. Maybe she hasn't heard you. Maybe she's dead. No, she can't be dead. The chair's rocking, even though the vines seem to be the thing rocking her. She is covered in fur blankets. It doesn't look like they did a good job of curing this fur either. There's dry blood, multiple layers of various types of skins. Several of the skins have various mutations that you can only imagine came off of something that looked worse than that moose. And I need each of you to roll me a spot hidden.
Keeper, I'm going to spend 8 points of luck and make that a success.
Good for you. Virginia's a thumbs down.
The hard success.
Oh, hard success. All right. And Titus didn't make it.
Mine.
Okay. I believe I set this at a hard success. Let's look. I think I did set this as a hard success. We're going to look really fast.
I could spend 1 luck and make it an extreme.
Nah, save your point. You're going to need it.
Okay.
Save your point. Save your point. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, sorry, I lost her. So you're looking at this granny on the cabin that's wrapped in these multi layers of skin. And you can just notice the silver, the unmistakably metallic barrel of a shotgun poking out from beneath this woman's fur blankets as she continues to rock.
Before we approach, Anna is going to kind of stop everyone. Well, there's one, and she's going to put her hand on her revolver that's attached to her hip. Looks like she's armed. She's also got a pretty sharp tongue on her.
I'm going to also put my hand on my piece, which is in my coat pocket.
Okay.
Well, we're going to have to talk to somebody eventually anyway. And I'm pretty sure she's seen us.
And there's at least one more, yeah.
All right. No better time than the present. Booker will kind of take his hand actually out of his jacket.
Okay.
And kind of walk forward a little bit, very slowly, very methodically, to where he feels like he can get in communication range, and be able to hear her if she speaks.
As you ascend the porch, the snowless porch, you can see right there on the inside of the rail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crates of that Aurora blue, packaged and ready for distribution. It looks like they're just set up here waiting for somebody to pick them up. And you come within communication range of what has to be Matilda Beaker. And she just continues to rock. There's no way she can't see you in her peripheral vision at this point. There's no way that she couldn't have heard you, but her head never turns. She just continues to rock.
Miss Beaker,
No response.
We have a warrant issued by the United States government to take you and your property in. Now, we would be much appreciated if you did that without any issue. Do you understand what I am saying?
You can see movement beneath the blankets. And there's this moment when you wonder if you're going to be looking down the barrel of a shotgun for another racist old white woman. But a hand shakes out It turns, and the palm opens towards you as if she's waiting for the warrant.
Again, my hand is not on any weapon. And I will slowly but surely approach to where I can place the warrant in her hand and try to be as away from the shotgun as I can.
Okay, not a problem.
Mhm.
You're able to nudge around where the barrel of the shotgun is poking out, and you put the warrant in your hand, and it's a quick motion, but she quickly turns around and she grabs onto your wrist. And you're actually surprised for a moment with like just the grip of this bony, flaky flesh that's grabbing into your wrist. And she yanks you down just enough where like, you're kind of startled, and she makes eye contact with you, and you're staring into two orbs. And I'm saying orbs because I don't necessarily know if her eyes quantify as human anatomy anymore, because they're swirling with this blue and teal, and you recognize it immediately. It looks just like the Aurora blue. And that's when she pulls mucus from the back of her throat and spits directly in your face. And then she starts to laugh. It's a dry, angry, hateful sound. And you can hear it in her lungs. If she makes it through the rest of this week, she's doing well.
Booker will kind of take his other hand and wipe it off. Ma'am, that wasn't very nice, but it doesn't change the fact that you are under arrest. And he will motion for the others to slowly come up and help him take her into custody if that's possible.
What does taking her into custody look like in this moment? I'm curious.
I don't see it listed, but would he have handcuffs?
I love you for handcuffs, yes. Who wrote this scenario? You guys are cops without handcuffs? Pfft, trash.
Why would I even ask? I'm sorry.
I have handcuffs on my sheet.
There we go.
I would take his handcuffs out, put it on the wrist of her, and then attach it quickly to the chair that she's sitting in. And then with his other hand, try to remove the shotgun, or at least point it up in case she gets a little frisky.
No, I love it. I love it.
Time.
This is easy work. I'm not going to make you roll anything. I do need to, guys, give me just a quick second. My stupid Streamlabs just froze weirdly. Okay, she's back. This takes no effort for you whatsoever to fasten a metal set of handcuffs around this woman's wrist. It clicks all the way down to the last bar. That's how thin she is at this point, which is a little unsettling. Like the handcuff barely has just the ability to hold on to this small wrist, but you're able to handcuff her to the chair. She is secured to the chair. You're able to confiscate the handgun, and whoever wants a free handgun on your sheet, you are welcome to it.
I'm going to make my way up to help Booker out, but on my way, I'm looking in windows. I'm worried because we're still missing, I think, a son that they warned us about.
There's 2 more and a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's Jacob, so, there's Addie and Missy, as well as Grandma Matilda.
Okay, well, I'm largely worried about the grown-ups who likely could do the violence. So, but I'm looking. Is that a spot hidden, or is that a
for where you are looking from the outside into the windows, I'm not even going to make you roll anything. I'm just going to go ahead and give this to you really fast. So, looking at the map here, let's give you, if you're on the porch, hold on guys, I'm looking at the first floor map. This is Granny, so you would be looking at rooms 1, 8, and 7 here, which looks like you're going to be in the living room looking into Jacob and Addie's room, or Missy's room. So yeah, let's go ahead and give you the living room first as you're looking through these windows that are just caked with grime, and you have to pry back some of the branches and some of the debris that's there. But as you look into what has to be the living room, you see the followings. I know it's very exciting watching me scroll. Give me a second. That's good shit. Okay, the front door has to lead directly into this living room area space. And what you can see from the window here, it's a combination of like maybe a lounge and a reception area. And Anna, you know this, that the Beakers rent beds to passing travelers that are in this area. So you can kind of like stay over, you know, you pay them cash and they'll give you a meal and let you kind of stay over. It looks like lounge seats are set on either side of the front door. There's a wooden desk, an antler coat rack. Then it looks like there's just piles of clothes on the floor. But as you're looking at the piles of clothes, this looks like 6 or 7 different outfits that may have been just pulled off of people or left by people. They're all just kind of scattered there, piled onto the floor. That's what you can just see from looking into that window. The next window that you come through, you look through, and this looks like it has to be maybe some type of a bedroom. You can see a bed, maybe a double bed just in the corner. It looks like this room has been smashed to pieces. Somebody in here had a hurricane of a time, breaking mirrors, broken plates, bed sheets are strewn across the floor. There's writing on the walls, but you can't really tell what the writing is. But what you can tell is the corpse that's on the floor. There's a woman on the floor in this room, and it's little more than a silhouette than what you can see just with the density of the debris on this window. But the longer you look, the more you recognize that she's not moving. This is absolutely a corpse of some sort. And you get to the third window, and this one has like a little crack on it that's like about this big. Looks like it's letting some fresh air in, and you look in, and this has to be a child's room of some sort. It's the one room that doesn't look like it's completely just wrecked to hell. You can see a small handmade desk and a chair. It looks like there are drawings on the wall, and you feel like something or someone is watching you, and then you catch the movement. And you see just underneath the open window, you can see 8 tiny little fingers peeking out. And you can see 2 bright blue eyes. But again, they're not quite eyes, are they? Because that would indicate a human anatomy. You're staring into the bright blue, swirling, purple, teal, green, celestial, and entrancing eyes of an 8-year-old girl. And she waves at you. And that's where we're going to wind up going on break. So, thank you everyone for joining in for episode 1 of Aurora Blue. Our prohibition agents have now arrived on the Beaker farm, and it looks like they've already met 3 members of the Beaker family. Episode 2, the finale, the conclusion of Aurora Blue, is going to be streaming, if I have internet, allegedly tomorrow. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your ears. Make sure you're hydrating. I already know you're not doing well enough about that. Take care of yourself, especially during these holiday seasons, because that's another just harrowing experience for so many of us that are dealing with everything that comes along with it. We hope you've enjoyed the symphony, and we look forward to spending some more time with you guys here soon. Mwah. Good night.